The following Earth Angel media presentation is brought to you commercial-free as a gratuity from the sponsor producer named after the show. Please consider their message. Find other high-value shows listed at earthangelproject.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to Soul Decodes. Join us as we wander off the path to find the ideas that fascinate. We talk about spirituality, the mind, the ego, wellness, and hidden history with tips, travels, and tales. Charms for a better life.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Dr. Jolie Phillips. I am so excited today because we have our second guest. We'll introduce him in a moment. But today is October 31st, and this is episode 63. You're listening to Soul Decodes, and I'm with the prolific author and thinker, Sarah Tirri.
Hello,
How are you
everyone.
doing, Sarah?
Nice to be back.
What's exciting in your world?
It's my wedding anniversary today, 31 years, and it's my daughter's 28th birthday. I had my third child on my third wedding anniversary.
Go
so
figure.
Happy birthday, sweetie.
Yay. So glad. Now, we had a guest last week, and we learned some things from that, some things we can do better, and things that we did really well. So
No interrogating.
but we did get some really positive feedback.
Good.
So I've actually got more guests lined up. But today we have our friend. I met Mike probably a couple months ago.
About a couple months ago.
So Mike, why don't you? Mike Solis, it's pronounced Solis, right?
Solis, yes.
Solis. So Mike Solis is a graphic artist. I actually contacted him because he was working at a graphic art. He still is working at a graphic arts place. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to get a next version of my Earth Angel logo. And Mike's like, yeah, we can work on that for you. So I was super excited. But then as I got to know more of Mike, I was just really engaged, like at a really soulful, spiritual level. He's a very earthy person. So, Mike, I want to welcome you to Soul Decodes.
Thank you. I want to thank both of you. Honestly, this is going to be a form of therapy for me. It's called integration. It's where you get to, there's not too many people. There's not a lot of weird people like me out there that are doing what I'm doing. You know?
Place, baby, because I'm pretty weird too.
Yeah. So, there's only so much that my business partner and my family can honestly take before you just kind of, it's, I wouldn't say that it's a,
lonely.
It's lonely, but it is not sad.
No.
It is not sad.
Solitude, but not lonely.
Yes. Yeah, solitude. I still haven't ran into my first ayahuasca in the wild, like out just cruising around.
So before we get into all of this discussion, why don't we talk about, before we talk about your journey and your experiences with the spiritual aspect of ayahuasca and things like that, who is Mike? Like, where'd you grow up? Where's your home? Like, give us the basics.
Oh, basics. I was born here in Claremont.
Okay.
And a brief run through my childhood was amazing. I had an amazing childhood. My parents had a large property on a lake.
Oh, nice.
And my younger years were just filled with fishing, catching alligators, snakes. It was very nature
jungle
nature life, an amazing childhood. And then
do you have siblings?
Older brother and older sister. And after that, I did work with my parents all through middle school, which I will get into later. So I feel it's relevant with ego. I'll explain that. I started working with my dad when I was around middle school, all through high school, and I like to say that, how to put it, I would say that the devil put his claws in my back at 17, right before I turned 18.
Really?
And from that point on, it was the battle. Nothing, my battle was no different than anybody else's battle. Right. It was just my battle.
At 17.
Yeah, it was just my battle. That's the moment he decided to take his first bite. And traveled the country. I decided to get an RV at right when I got out of high school, and was just like, are you allowed to free talk? Is it?
Yeah,
Hey, this is
complete free talk.
This is a complete conversation, whatever.
Yeah, right when I got out of graduate high school, I was just like, fuck this, I got to leave.
Yeah.
Like, I can't be here anymore.
And did you have somewhere you wanted to go particularly, or just wanted to get away?
It was more of now I would say it was like a spiritual run. Oh. It was more, there was more pressure and negative that was constantly hounding me, that I just felt like I needed to get out. And yeah, I made it up to North Carolina with my cousin for about a year, just building stuff. And then my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer. So I moved home. Oh. My parents sold the company. It's because my dad decided that, you know, if you're going to battle a sickness, it's all based around stress. Stress is one of the key factors. So he was like, I just want to get rid of the business, the
Good
headaches. He bought an RV, and they just started traveling throughout her therapies. And I moved home for a year. It's funny because about 1 year later, she got a clear bill of health. And the people that bought over my parents' company ran it down, and they closed the doors. So when my mom got the clear bill of health, my dad went to the bank and got it right back, and we flipped the name. And then once they got kind of established and everything, I was like, all right, fuck it, I'm out of here again. You know, I gotta leave again. You know, and
symmetry to that.
And then I left and went to Texas for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years, and then I got a phone call that I had an opportunity to go up to California. So I was in California for 3.
And how was your mind during this time? Getting away, did it improve your mental health?
Yeah, it made it worse.
It did?
It made it worse.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I really started fighting. Going from RV living to getting the RV in a situation where I couldn't access it regularly, and being in a spot where my only financial means were like 2 hours away from where my RV. So it was like, I'm just going to sleep in my truck Monday through Friday for a span. So
for clarity, like, what were some of the struggles you were facing? Like, this is pretty cryptic to me. I see you grew up. I understand your what happened with your family and your mom and the businesses. I get that. But when you're talking about the struggles, were these, what types of struggles were we talking about here?
Probably just the concept of who I am.
Okay, fair.
What I am.
Well, that's very central.
Existential.
That's very central to the theme of this, because Soul Decodes is, our premise is that each one of us has a soul and it's on a journey. And sometimes we can't figure out what's going on around us.
Yep.
So what you're sharing is very central, I would say, to what we talk about, right?
I agree. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just, I just want to clarify for brand new listeners, you know, there's such a stigma out there about hallucinogenics and drugs and, herbal remedies. You know, it's so negative.
I think it's early, though, 17, because I did a sim, but I was 33, and it happened much later. I did have children, so you're very young to be in that, but probably an old soul, because you would choose that at a young age.
Yeah, I've always felt like I was an old soul.
Yeah.
Yep, my favorite artist is Bill Withers.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I've got this terrible joke, so I have to tell you quickly. How do you turn a duck into a soul singer?
How?
You put it in a microwave and it's Bill Withers.
Jeez,
sorry.
That's so bad.
So sorry.
So you're on this journey.
And then, so for a few years, but you haven't improved mentally. Getting away didn't help. And your questions were obviously, were they being answered or?
No, because I think that you get to a spot where you don't even know what you're asking. Oh. So you kind of get trapped in this. It's almost like when you have certain traumas, that section of your brain kind of shuts off to where when you try to access it, it's kind of like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But it's still a portion of your brain that should be being used.
Yes. Integrated.
But every time you try to emotionally anything, something triggers it, your defense mechanism is, I don't even want to open that door.
Right.
and you just feel that pain of getting close to the energy.
So you're curious, but also blocking the very area.
Also
that you
blocking
need to
it. And I would
access.
say that even as I was traveling, I wasn't necessarily in a bad mindset. I wasn't necessarily in a bad place. I was excited. I was happy. I had friends. I was living life. But at the same time, it was, you have your own individual, pains that you do know of that, every time that comes up, it's a hit. And so I don't really know. I know exactly why I was running, but I wouldn't say that I was in a depressed mindset. I was never depressed.
Yeah.
I was never.
It sounds a little bit like you didn't understand meaning. There was no meaning.
Exactly.
I was just going to say that.
Exactly.
What's our purpose?
Exactly.
Do you feel like your situation was unique to you, or do you think it's pervasive in the world?
Oh, I think there's a ton of people that are in the same position and where they just truly don't understand what we are or who we are.
What makes you feel that way? Like, what's the basis of your assessment?
Ayahuasca. And I can't explain how I know, because you can't, there's certain things that when it happens to you, you just understand it. It doesn't have to be explained to you. And it's more of like you understand something that you fully can't express, but the feeling is so pure that you understand it. Like one thing that I've recently started understanding is, I believe in the concept of reincarnation to an extent. I think that you would also, after you would have a chance at a certain point to have, do you want to redo this?
Yes, you can graduate.
You can graduate to an extent to be like, do you want to redo this?
It's like a brother you didn't know you had.
Yeah. I agree with that. And you can choose to come back at that
You can
point.
choose to come back, or you almost get into a spot where it's not really a choice. It's almost like you may have to be forced to redo this and you're going to be forced to redo this until you figure out what exactly you are.
Yeah.
And so I would say
I think in my novel, just briefly, I did Inauguration Hall, which was the second chapter, and we signed up for this, and there was no backing out. But we knew that coming in, and we knew it would be very difficult to return a lot of the times, and we're committed. So we're not forced to come back because our original agreement, we signed up for it. But I agree with what you're saying. We just want to run a mile sometimes.
Yes, and I would agree with that. And it would also play into how I recently started feeling where I truly believe this is my last one.
Oh, good.
Yes.
It's
nice.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
And I told you that when I first met, I said, I'm pretty sure this is my last time through here. I told you that. So you mentioned off the air, backstage that there was this community of people do you think there's this community of people that surround you, people like you, that because of the ayahuasca experience, or this idea that they're seeking more about who they are and why they're here, or both? Is there what makes the community? What's the basis of the community?
Good question.
I've seen multiple different communities. So there's communities. When I first started drinking ayahuasca, it was in a legalized church in Orlando.
How old were you, if you don't mind me asking?
It was 2022, so I was 30. Right now I'm 38. So it was maybe 35, 34, right around that age. Right. And it's funny because I've always been the crazy one my whole life. I've been I've had just kind of the crazy ideas a little bit. People think I'm comic, I'm witty, and kind of, that was just my role. And that bases off of a lot of an ego when we get into ego.
Persona.
And so when I hit my low, I got to a spot where I understood I didn't want to die. I didn't want to leave this planet, right? This what but I was ready to die. I was ready to die, and in a spiritual, I didn't understand how, and I don't remember what got me to research ayahuasca. I can't remember that part of.
Maybe you were led.
Somehow I was led, and I remember researching it and figuring out that like you can go off in the jungle and you can spiritually die, and I'm like, well, shit, this is exactly what I'm looking for. like, oh my god, like, wow, and I I'm an open book with my parents, with everyone. So
What did your parents think?
Oh, at first, I remember I went and I told my dad, because my dad is always the type that's, don't get tattoos. And yeah, you smoke cigarettes, I can smell it, you know, like, well, yeah. And so I go to him first because let's get it out of the way. I just kind of want to see his reaction. But yeah, at first he was like, you know, it's the typical where he's just like, oh, you know, because we have a good relationship. But
did it surprise him?
No, he was more like, you're an idiot. You're crazy, you know. And then it led on to where like he would be cruising around the office and I'd be doing something. He'd walk by me and I would just kind of pretend like I'm going to throw up, because in Ayahuasca you can purge. So he would walk by and I'm like, Dad, I'm in the jungle, and just and he's like, you're an idiot. And I was like, I kept telling him like, I'm really going to do this, man. I just want you to know, you know. And then my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, got pregnant. And it's funny because we figured out that she was pregnant about a month before I was going to go. I had my itinerary. I had everything.
So a lot was going down.
I was getting ready to go mentally.
And I've got a soul on the brink of leaving and going, and a soul coming in.
Yes, and I had my itinerary. I knew the place I was going to go. It was in Peru. I had everything lined up, and then we figured out that
when you say go, you're talking about go on this ayahuasca journey or go depart this place.
Go on an ayahuasca journey.
Okay.
So I was going. My first one was to go out of and go on my first one. But then I remember my wife telling me that we were pregnant, and I love kids. I love people. I'm super excited. I'm ready. You know, she was more worried, you know, because her parents are going to get upset, but I already knew I'm locked into this world regardless. This is my child, you know, so I was really excited. I was telling her like, you know, we're going to be fine, this and that. And then once she goes off and goes to sleep or whatever, I won't lie, I went on my patio and I cried for about 2 days because I knew in my soul I was not going to leave to go attempt to do something that I don't know what was going to happen to me. Yeah. Especially like I had to see my kid there, so I knew that.
So you're kind of grieving a little bit.
Yes, that
you would have gone otherwise.
I would have gone, and that was. But it's all meant to be now.
Sure.
And
did you realize that at the time?
I realized that my opportunity to go was gone, but I didn't. I knew that the idea of me eventually finding it was not gone, but it was on a pretty significant standstill because I knew that I would have had to wait until she's old enough. Yeah, like it was the gamble. You don't know what's coming, and
your paternal instincts had taken over.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to interject, but I'm just trying to get the picture here. At this point, your mom and dad are both still alive.
Yep.
And now, are they currently still both alive?
Yep.
And if you could weave that in, because as a parent, because my son's, I told you he's in Austin, Texas. He's done ayahuasca, and as a parent, you know, these things go through my mind. Like, how did your parents respond, or do they care? Or, I mean, how's that all?
I think at first...
Well, your dad was like, stupid little shit.
But that was the beginning. But when he sees the outcome, like now that you've been back and you can explain the journey, does he care or does he?
Oh, he loves them.
Okay.
And it's surprising how they both are very intrigued. And it's with what I do. And it's only because my sister did it with me.
So she comes with the cred.
She's
got the cred.
Yes. Yeah. And it was beautiful. It was meant to be, because about 6 years after, maybe 5 or 6 years after my daughter was born, I was still in the spot where I'm researching this. This would be so amazing. Everyone thought I was crazy because I was talking about people, I want to do this. My sister thought I was crazy, and my mom thought I was crazy. My dad thought it was my brother. Everyone was like, you're crazy for wanting to do this. And
I bet they secretly admired it as well.
Now I think they do. Now for sure. But about 4 or 5 years later, my sister. Oh, I'm gonna get. Hold on. I brought tissue. I knew this was gonna get.
Oh.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I knew I would get, and I'm perfectly fine with emotions now.
Okay, me too.
Oh yeah, I love them. Yeah. But my sister actually came in to my house and sat on my couch And I remember her just looking at me and telling me, I think I want to do this with you. And I remember the exact feeling that went through me and everything. I just needed a fucking reason. That's all I needed at this point. I needed just a solid reason, and that's it. So I remember when she told me she wanted to drink with me, I was just like, Jess, I'll pay for this whole thing. I was like, let's just go now.
Wow.
Let's book it.
What made her volunteer to?
I would love to get her to meet with you, and she can come on. And
what impulsed her?
So maybe we can have a follow up. Maybe if she's willing to jump on a mic, and
I'm sure she would really love to.
I'll have to buy a fourth mic if it's together.
I've probably got a couple.
Yeah. So this is a fascinating story. I'm grateful. And you're with two friends, so if you have to cry, go cry.
Oh, trust me, I will. I will when it hits me.
Okay.
I am. Yep. But yeah, she was my reason, and she was going through a different aspect of life at me at the time. She was more.
What was the reason
for her?
Yeah. No, you said she's my reason. What was the reason?
My reason, I guess, was. It's hard to. I just say that she was the reason because at that point in my life...
She was the catalyst. Your reason was your existential crisis, but she was the one
she
that came
was the
along.
one... I just needed the reason for the reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so she nudged you. She was the catalyst. Okay.
Yeah, so it was basically when she sat down and said that she wanted to do it with me, that's all I needed.
That was the
Let's
green
do
light.
this.
Yeah.
Yes. Like now it's beyond me.
So how long did it take from that moment till you actually get out into Peru? Did you go to Peru?
No, there was a legalized Ayahuasca church in Orlando.
Wow.
Yep.
Is it still going?
They're not going. Yep.
We have to find the founders and let's get it back going again. No?
But
Okay.
the community is amazing. Amazing community. There was an incident out of the church, right? I don't want to go too far into what I don't know everything. But from everything I have gathered, I do not blame the medicine.
What, someone died?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody passed away. This is what I've gathered because it was before I was even introduced. I want to say the church was around for about 10 years. They were here for a long span, and it was a religiously fun. Like that's how they ran their company, was a religious views. And somebody ended up passing away. And
it's a shame, isn't it? Because it's now around something that people might naturally disapprove of. So it's going to be this caused that, but you're going to have people die all around the world
For
today,
everything.
any given
Yep.
situation.
And what I find as a doctor, I find it fascinating that here's one instance of one person dying of who knows what.
Yeah.
But
and how many beautiful transformations took place.
But in the medical world, like the formal, approved, licensed medical world, if you take medications and you do your medical doctor does everything and you follow the medical instructions perfectly and you take the correct pharmaceuticals, correct timing, correct everything, and you do everything correctly and you die, no harm, no foul.
Yeah, no one's going to say.
And there's a whole, you can just research iatrogenics. Iatrogenics is literally death by medicine or death by doctors, medical doctors. Millions of people worldwide that are completely compliant with their medical doctor die, millions. And there's no talk of it.
So it was used as a scapegoat. But anyway, that is.
But yeah, throughout everything that I've just heard through the community and through, what you can Google about it and stuff like that, I boiled it down to where I do not blame the medicine by any means. I think that there was a lot more going on and the person should have had medical care rather than spiritual care at a specific time. And so there was multiple ends, but
so with that as a
was that the reason it was shut down?
Yes.
Wow. So with that as a backdrop, would you say if you were engineering the next version of the church, that maybe there should be some sort of an onboarding? Policies. Let's just make sure that there's a 48-hour, like maybe do some basic tests.
They do all that.
They did all that.
They do it all.
Was there a doctor of medicine on standby?
They had EMTs on staff.
So a lot of precautions were taken.
It was a beautiful facility. Yeah. It really was. It was, and I had a slight biased towards it at the beginning, where when I first came across ayahuasca, I was like, no, I want to go to the jungle. I don't want to go.
Right.
Yeah, I want the real thing.
Rustic. Yeah.
And after my sister said that she wanted to drink, it was, let's do it. There's a place in Orlando.
So when you were in this environment, was it a casual environment with lounge chairs, or were you?
They had
was it
big
more
Maloka tent for ceremonies. They had a large property. They had campfires. They had cabins that you could rent out.
Oh.
It was all weekend ceremonies. So you did about 3 ceremonies per weekend.
And how many people attended?
Wow. I would say that there were anywhere between, it's got to be at least between 30 to 70 a weekend.
Wow.
Maybe more.
And was there a fee involved?
There's a fee.
Yeah.
Yep. And what price do you put on that kind of healing?
Well, they've got to host you. They've got to feed you.
They feed you.
Accommodation.
Yeah.
So it's like going on a retreat.
And
Really.
they have
going
to
on
pay
a
for the
retreat.
medical staff.
Yes.
And
Yeah. So there was a fee, So I don't remember what it was. If it was $1,100, $1,200 for the weekend. And yeah, it was.
And were you very excited or nervous going into it?
It was my first cup. I was excited. My second cup.
So this is a cup of tea.
It's a cup.
And does it smell?
It's bad.
Is it?
It doesn't smell.
Did
I don't.
you shit yourself and puke?
No, I do
that's
throw.
good.
You do throw up.
You did throw up.
Yes, I've thrown up multiple times. I've gotten. It's beautiful. It's
right.
not what people think.
And you don't keep retching after you've thrown up. You can settle down. Then,
Yes,
can you?
yes,
Yeah.
and they call it the purge, where you're purging out anything negative, but I've also had purges where I've thrown up and then my journey has started and everything started going. And I've also had very powerful ceremonies to where I went through the entire experience to the end and I got up and went and purged. And that purge is what made me release back to me. So I have this connection with it to where I don't look at it as throwing up. Even you maybe
it sounds like a useful aspect of it in your grounding and your releasing.
It's
so
a
your
very
body's working
spiritual
with you, isn't it?
connection with it.
Yeah. So you had your first cup of tea and then you threw up, and then what happened?
My first
cup of tea. It sounds.
Yeah. My first ceremony was my first main traumatic, my first trauma. I look at traumas as almost like major and minors, and there's major and minor good moments, and there's almost like you still have your flats, almost like a piano, and with ayahuasca, it's a complete visual realm that you can't explain because it's almost 5D.
Wow.
And there's a different level of a connection with it to where you are it at a different level to where when nothing is physically spoken, but to me at least, I don't have any physical words, but I can tell you my grandmother's.
But you're interfaced with it.
You're connected with it. You would be able to see something and then you would just be like, I hear you. Mm-hmm. I understand. I've seen shamanic things, huge shamanic heads radiating smoke and just chanting, and I'll just be in front of this massive realm with this in it.
And what in that realm, are you encountering another being, or you're encountering an aspect of yourself through another being?
I wouldn't say there's another being. It's a very motherly presence. Ayahuasca is very motherly. They call it the grandmother because the concept is your grandmother will whoop your ass, but she'll also be the most gentle and kindest soul that you've met, all in the same.
Oh, that's interesting.
So ayahuasca is the grandmother medicine, and it's so true. It's it'll put you into. I don't feel like there's necessarily another entity. It's more of me figuring out what's important in my life and how I can truly filter through all of this on top of seeing these realms that are unexplainable.
Yeah.
So like I've been to multiple different realms, and I could talk about days about the orbs and the lights and the snakes and all these different realms. But all of that is just minor background noise to my majors.
Right.
Like, you know, like my major trauma. I fought so hard that night.
So in this experience, your major trauma was something that was being focused on. You had the peripheral stuff going on, which was less important, but what you were required to face came up.
Okay, so I have a good one that I will talk about, a specific. I consider it a major, but a major trauma that hasn't happened. And so I want to say on my sixth ayahuasca journey, I got presented. This is going to be a good one. And I want to tell this one because I know my dad will be listening to this.
Oh, hello, Dad.
Hi, Dad. Good to see you.
I know he'll hear it, and it's so hard to let him know in a genuine, like, how, you know, it's hard. And that whole night, I got presented with him standing in front of me. Wow. And it was the whole basis around it. Your dad died. He's gone. The concept of him dying. And I fought so hard on that floor, crying. Just the emotions are attached to what you're going through, to where the door opens. You can't help it because it's going to come out. And all you can do is fight. And it was unbelievable. I fought so hard for him on that floor that night, to a point that he won't even understand how much he means to me. It was almost like if you're dangling your family off of the ledge and you're holding that rope beyond you. That rope,
it's superhuman.
It's superhuman.
Yeah, exactly.
That fight is superhuman. And that's what it does to you. It puts you to that superhuman fight until you are completely done. And it won't let you give up. But it holds you in that spot until my dad, in the vision, would be able to look down at me and just give me, like I said, it's not spoken. You just understand. And I understood from him, I'm so fucking proud of you. Like, you're holding on, like you need to let go because everybody else let go a long time ago, right? And I'm proud of you, like, but let me explore what you're tapping into. Like, let me show you myself. And it was so sad. It was so hard to let go and to accept it, that it's gonna happen, you know?
And did you think this was going to be imminent when you bounced out of this journey?
No, because the crazy thing is, at the end of that journey, when I finally let him go and I finally gave my final tear, he ended up turning into an American eagle, right? And he flew off into this realm. And I was so happy for him.
It was free.
It was free. He came from Cuba.
Beautiful ending.
It was beautiful. And when I opened my eyes on that floor, and I took my first breath again, like, you know, your first conscious, you know, you're there, you're back.
Back in the realm.
I wouldn't say it was the hardest. It was the most spiritual push-up I've ever done in my life. Because when I pushed myself off of that floor, it felt like I was ripping myself out of his shadow, in a sense, because I've always worked under him. He's always been, you know, but I feel like I ripped myself out of that shadow, became my own person, and the moment I got all the way up, I reconnected with him spiritually, and then I became him.
Wow.
And since that experience, right? And that one rocked me pretty hard. I didn't have breakfast the next morning. My buddy Mike.
Did you feel lighter?
I feel like I'm living on bonus time with him. I feel like whatever I grieved, I've grieved it. I've accepted the fact it's going to happen one day. You know, he's in his 70s. He's lived an amazing life. He's escaped communism from Cuba. My grandparents were multimillionaires, had massive factories. Castro took it all, and they got on a flight like a vacation and came to Miami. My dad grew up in the ghettos of Miami, created a business, which now me and my business partner own, and now he's retired, traveling with their RV. An amazing life. A hard one, but amazing.
So you have a fear of him dying. Is this fear of him dying or death in general? Or
was this, a tangential question to that is, yes, there's a relationship between you and your father and you, but also it's the image, it's the concept of a father and where you rack and stack, not only against his measurement for you, but your measurement for you too. Like there's this resolution about, yes, you're every bit the man, because you look at your dad as this freaking amazing person that he is, and there's this part of you that says, you know, do I stack up? There's this part of, and when he says to you how amazing you are, that's actually, we call that the blessing. When a parent gives the child, and this should happen in real time. In a perfect family, you know, Sarah's raising the children look up to Sarah and admire her or admire her husband, right? They look up to Tony and Sarah and they say, oh, you know, these are my idols, right? And the children are looking up and that you're their idols. The blessing comes when you say to them, I'm everything that you're going to be, but you're going to be so much more. Right? That's the parental blessing. And I think it's something that we parents all do. Like I did that to my children. It's like they look at my biography, they're like, holy crap, you know, I can't do that. And I'm like, no, you'll do more. You'll do much more. You have to set yourself free. And that's a parental blessing. So what you experienced is it's legitimately a parental blessing. And sometimes we don't always get it from our actual parents. Like my physical, biological parents were both broken in some ways. So you have to get to this place where if your parents don't give that to you, you have to get it to yourself or through a mentor. Like I had other mentors, especially business mentors, that told me how amazing I am, how powerful I am, how beautiful I am, how I can do things. Those things didn't come from my parents, but they came from another source. In this case, they may have come from your parents in some degree, but at your soul level, you needed to receive. You needed to be in a place where you could receive that blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel inadequate around your father? Was that something that you had felt because of all he'd been through and his achievements?
Not necessarily, because even that experience to me, it was more the way I came away with that, and the way I feel is the plant medicine blessed me with future trauma. So not only am I going to use this medicine to tackle my problems, my traumas, it allowed me to tackle a future trauma. I can't tell you how I feel about that scenario. I can, but it's hard to explain because I have already grieved it.
So when it actually happens,
I know there will be a new type of trauma, but I am fully prepared to stand there strong with my wife and my child and both of my kids, my mom, if she's, whoever, and explain to them that it's okay.
You're right.
That it's going to be okay.
So it was preparing you for a future moment of helping heal someone else.
It prepared me to be able to.
Because if you hadn't have been prepared, you might have broken down in that situation. Useless to everyone else around you. So it was allowing you to.
It allowed me to get it out.
Get it out so you can be of use.
And I fully.
Is your father healthy now?
Yep, he's doing good.
I mean, 70 is pretty young.
Yep, he's doing
70 is very young.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm talking to you as a 63-year-old. 70 is very young.
And Yeah.
So that was a shock then to go through that.
It was a shock.
I'm very surprised that this is your story. I mean, nothing really surprises me, but that's very specific, and I guess it's what the universe knew that you needed.
I believe that ayahuasca, the chemical, is dimethyltryptamine, is what the base chemical boils down to. And I've read some stuff about it, and I truly believe that it's alive. And it's completely different than because small background with me, I don't do drugs. I have never done, smoke some pot, like every other kid.
Yeah.
But when I was living in California, I was around it all. I could have very easily gotten anything I wanted. Nothing interests me. That doesn't interest me to do that. And then when
you're not looking to get a buzz, are you?
I'm not looking to
You're
get a buzz.
To get an experience.
And what's funny is my wife asked me, which is another one. I don't get to openly tell my wife how much she truly means to me, because there's not a lot of women that will let their husband go do this 10 times, go do Bufo 6 times.
Did she think that you were a better version of yourself after when you returned home? Was she able to be on that journey just seeing how you were or did she think that it messed you up?
I know that she knows it didn't mess me up.
Right.
I don't know if she has fully been able to see the true change, because for me it wasn't much of a physical change so much as
interior.
I'm free. My soul is free. And it's the first time I've ever been free. And so she never really gets to hear.
What an incredible platform to continue on with your life on planet Earth, to feel free like that.
I'm a journeyer. My sister knew it, and I will be using my plant medicine for as long as I'm allowed to, as long as I can. Yeah. And I sacrifice every day. I bust my ass at work, jiu-jitsu with the kids, weekends trying to make sure they're happy. One of my buddies will call and say, hey, you want to go fishing for the day? No, I'm home. Because when I go for my weekend, I want to make sure my soul understands you deserve this.
Yeah.
I feel the release. My wife will understand, go, be free, go do your thing. And I don't ask for anything.
What's the gap in between journeys? What would that ideally be for you if you could schedule it?
If I could schedule my own healing ceremonies for me where I'm at a different level with it, to where I wouldn't necessarily say I'm going in for trauma release, because I don't feel like I feel like now I'm going to I'm building my home. And it's hard to, I believe that, I don't believe hell exists. I think it does, but not what people think it is. Because I don't think that God's almighty angel would get banished here, and then he would automatically get his own realm. Right? He doesn't get shit.
You have to read my book. I'll give it to you. This is the best God could do, because I did a whole chapter on this.
You'll love her book. You'll love her book.
Yeah.
I don't think hell exists. I think that, so even another deeper one is, I almost am at the point where I believe Jesus sacrificed himself for our sins. That concept. I'm not very religious. I grew up without a religious base. For the most part, my sister was Christian, Catholic. My parents were Christian. By the time I was old enough to start going to church, my parents were probably like, fuck this. These other two, my older brother and sister, were a pain in the ass trying to get them ready. Mm-hmm. And at that time, church was, you present yourself you dress up for church. Nowadays, you just roll in. So I didn't really grow up in the church. And since my last ayahuasca experience, I have started reading the Bible. Take it with a grain of salt, I feel like it's tarnished a little bit, through humans. But the concept of Jesus died for our sins, it sticks with me, because I believe that Jesus didn't die to wipe away our sins. I believe Jesus died fighting for our right to be given a chance to cleanse ourselves of our sins and go home. So I almost think that by Jesus sacrificing himself for our sins, he also created hell, which is a beautiful place. So I believe that almost...
So hell was inadvertently created by Jesus.
By Jesus' sacrifice. And the concept of hell, to me, is that I believe everybody's going to hell. 99% of the planet will go to their own version of hell. It's not going to be demon fires. No, it's going to be this trauma, that trauma. It's going to be this person that you pissed off and you felt bad about. It's going to be that person you treated like an asshole. It's going to be everything that is negatively impacted you through the devil, because you will not be allowed to enter the most peaceful realms without at first becoming at peace. So it's the concept of, if you come in your mom or your grandmother's house with dirty shoes, you're taking that shit off. If you've got dirt coming up to your knees and on your shoulder, you're taking a shower before you come in the house. Yeah. And so everyone has this fear of a hell, but they don't understand that it's probably one of the most... making. But it's also one of the most beautiful experiences. It's not even in hell. It's an evolution. It's you shedding all of your shit so that you can actually become in a peaceful
I think
realm.
The way you're describing it is so unlike the hell that we've been tortured with, isn't it? It's not even a hell at that point. It would, I don't know the term that I would use, but I'm going to think about that. But it's a distinctive place. Of just facing what you've created. You're facing your own creation.
This is a fascinating conversation, because just 2 days ago, I sent you the first maybe 20 minutes of an interview, and it was on a channel, a YouTube channel. I'll go ahead and leave a link to it in the show notes, but it's called The Essene Teachings on Resurrection and the Christ and the Tree of Life. All right. It dovetails perfectly with what he just said, because the idea of hell is this, it's based on the polarity or the divergence of concepts. And the teachings of the Christ would be one of oneness, bringing those diverging concepts into a conflict resolution. So if you have trauma, healing the trauma. If you have whatever your hell is, bringing that to some sort of level of understanding. The net effect of that is that you become wiser, smarter, more powerful, so you can get to your personal next level. The whole idea of an ascension is not something like where you go to this level of heaven where the clouds are brighter and shinier. It's a level of ascension where you come to an inner knowing of your personal self. It's the whole thing. The kingdom of God is within you. Mm-hmm. And so the Essenes, like Jesus, the Nazarenes, Nazareth, it's a compound word, where the Essenes were one of three major sects. There was the Sadducees, the Pharisees, and the Essenes. The Sadducees and Pharisees, they were power ego structure, and the Essenes were very soulful. And so the messages that you're talking about and the relationship with the Earth Mother and the angels of the earth, those are very Essenic in terms of nature. So I sent you the video about the Essenes. I've been talking about the Essenes, the gospel of peace, for a year now. But now it's coming mainstream. I saw that video. I'm like, here are these people finally talking about the Essenes and about Jesus, the Christ, which simply means the anointed. The anointed is simply the anointing that you get from these experiences in this earth space.
Yes, I think we're all anointed.
We're all anointed. Yeah. And like you perfectly said, Mike, your hell is very different than my hell.
Exactly.
And it's very different from her hell, right? Mm-hmm. Some of us, but the hell is there to serve us. It's like if I go to the weight room and I look at a 200-pound weight set, I'm like, oh, that's going to be hell. But you know that's here to serve me. It's there to make me stronger and make me more powerful. Mm-hmm. And that's the way I look at the hell. It's nothing. It's something that you accept. You're like, okay, I'm going to have to you have to go through hell to get to heaven, literally.
Well, that's part of being a creator. You have to face what it is that you've created.
Yep.
And you have to accept that, still love yourself, still go through it. And then in karma, do you believe if reincarnation exists, we're going to experience the karma of being an asshole?
Yeah, and I didn't want to take us off track, but I think it's so relevant because what you're speaking of dovetails almost perfectly with the teachings that were hidden from us. In approximately 350 AD, a lot of the teachings that you're talking about, these relationships with the herbs, the things from the garden, these experiences, those were very commonplace in the first 1, 2, 3 centuries of Christians. These journeys, this discovery of self, the inner knowing, all of these things were very common to the mystics, the mystical Christians, the first century Christians. It's only in the later, I call them neo-Christians, where it's all scriptural based. It's like, well, this book, and basically there's two concepts. One is that the new Bible, as we know it, is not really the Jesus Bible. It's the Paul. It's Paul's it's Paul's interpretation of what happened to Jesus. Paul never even met Jesus. He never even met him. It's all hearsay. So now they're studying a Bible that basically is built on hearsay. But if you go back to the Essene Gospels and the Dead Sea Scrolls, and you look at some of the ancient scriptures, they dovetail almost perfectly with what Mike's describing. Like you could put them next to each other, and they'd read just almost parallel, almost perfectly parallel. So I'm sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Fine. I also believe that this is heaven. That I don't understand how we would come here and then you die and go to heaven. You go home. Like, so heaven this is heaven. The physicalness, the realm that so it's hard to explain exactly how I process this, but I feel like consciousness is God.
Yes.
Right? That's God.
But you've never heard of any of our podcasts before.
No, not too much. No. And like the soul is you. You're
aspect of God.
You're the soul. So like the way that I view it is, if you're God and you're just God. I don't really go what happened before or anything. That's the beginning.
You're the source.
You're the source. The source is, I feel like God is creating his home, and he is creating all these masterpiece realms for us to enjoy, right? But in order, the many mansions are all over this place. But then I feel like when God created, let's say Adam and Eve. This is a perfect one. Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve came, I believe that they were not the first people on earth. I believe they were the first people that had souls. And because even when Adam and Eve, I'm not super familiar with all that. I just kind of recently started digging into stuff. Enoch is my favorite, by the way. But Enoch comes in the Bible twice, and they say
he go in his chariot.
But Enoch comes in the current the Roman Bible. I'm just going to call it the Roman Bible, but Enoch was the central concept.
Yep, I believe that. Yes, I love Enoch.
Yeah,
but I believe so even when Adam and Eve had their kids, I think it was Cain and Abel. And then one killed the other one. I think Cain killed Abel. And then at a certain point in the Bible, I remember reading that it said that Cain was going to walk the earth as punishment. And that Cain was saying something to God along the lines of, I don't want all these people to kill me. And God told him, they're not going to kill you because I'm going to tell them not to. And you got to just roam. So that means there were other people on this planet. There was others besides Cain and Abel and Adam and Eve. Because I think that when God created this heaven, it's almost like an ant farm. He created this realm that's his precious realm, and he put plants, he put animals, he put all these things in it, and then he would put humanized beings in this realm with his conscious, so that these conscious, no souls yet, the consciousness of the people that were here were basically the way God could view his creation. His eyes to his world, to see what he's built.
It's his sense receptors.
Yes, and then I think when he sent Adam and Eve, it was the first time he sent a pair of people with a soul. And the soul is basically the concept of, when you die, you will eventually become God, but you're still you. So
Love
there's still you inside of God. So now God has a next door neighbor. He actually has someone that has a different, perspective, a different, Adam has different experiences than Eve. Everyone that has souls will have a different, unique aspect to them. If you're a comedian, if you're all these different life forces are now going to, when they die, they will become God. But then at the same time, you are still you.
Remain individual.
You will remain your uniqueness.
I always had that about nirvana. I didn't want, to be absorbed into this supreme spirit after death. I didn't like the idea. I'm okay with it, but I still want to be Sarah Tirri. I still want that, and whoever I've been prior to that. And that's what I thought was a more reasonable way of continuing with our future.
I believe that. And I believe that
he wouldn't give us individuality and then require that we're stripped from it.
Exactly.
That would be a real jerk thing.
You are still going to be you.
Yeah.
And then you will also be God and live in these realms. But I think that the idea of the hell was even with Adam and Eve. Satan got sent here. He's here. He has no realm. He's got nothing.
Now, did God create Satan? And is he fighting Satan for supremacy?
In the biblical side, that's where I've, but outside of that,
just in your opinion,
it's hard. I've never really gone too far down.
Because Jolie and I've talked about light and dark exists because light exists. It's not battling for supremacy.
The idea is like we as men and women, right? We try to explain things around us based on things we understand, and so we have to give God, the infinite God, an image that's a man, and Satan an image that's something that's like a man but kind of nasty looking, right? We have to create things that make sense to us because we can't make sense of the things that we can't comprehend, right? So we make God fit into our world because that's our frame of reference.
But the question is God, did God create the devil, or did the devil?
And the answer is this: the answer has to be yes.
Yes, so
the answer has to be yes, because if you're going to say that there's an almighty, infinite creator that was all-knowing, all-powerful, that this almighty God didn't accidentally lose a third of the legion of angels led by this master demon, that doesn't accidentally happen if you're the almighty creator. You would have known,
wouldn't you? If
so you have to conclude that happened with intention, with purpose, to serve you and to serve to serve us. So to me, that I'm not afraid of the devil. I'm like, and we'll talk about this next because I want to kind of move. We've talked about the spiritual journey and some of the outcomes, which is freaking awesome. But I want to kind of move forward and say, what does this mean to the average normal person? What do we look like in the future? But the idea of Adam and Eve being separated, they were one and they were separated, but then they come back together. And same thing with good and evil. Good and evil didn't exist. Then good and evil were created to create a polarity for us to learn, and then their polarity is going to disappear again. So that'll be a unification. So everything is going to come back to a unification.
So basically, there's nothing to be scared of.
All this is
part of creation itself.
It's like me looking at it,
which is a really novel idea because it allows you to feel secure in this realm.
You feel comfortable.
The thing with Christianity that I dislike the most is that we're told that we're a perversion of what God originally intended, and we're not. We're beautiful. We're beautiful, divine, sovereign souls. That's the part that I was really upset about in my book.
And I love what you're saying because, like Mike was saying, each of us is a kind of a god within the empire of gods. We're our own gods. And you get to be Sarah, I get to be Jolie. Mike gets to be Mike. And I'm not surrendering my identity to you, but I'm also not making my identity control you or be controlled by you. I'm looking at you as another divine sovereign. I'm looking at Mike as a divine sovereign. He's on his journey, but I'm looking at a divine fractal that is another one of me, and you're another one of me. And we can look to each other with kindness and respect and understand that.
And not thinking there's anything wrong with each other. There's nothing wrong with any of us.
We're on our own journeys, and we have to honor his journey and help him on his journey.
Even the way that, if like, even like the people that are in bad spots, that are traumatized, when God banished Satan to heaven, to earth, to live. He's stuck here. We're not. So he's forever here. He's got no chance of going back home. So I truly believe that Satan's sole purpose is to traumatize people.
And God is okay with this?
I think at first, I feel like Satan started traumatizing people, and God was saying, all right, the traumatized souls are not allowed to come to me, right? You just restart, right? You get to restart your life, maybe reincarnation concept at that point. But then I feel like when Jesus sacrificed himself for all of our sins, he created the purgatory realm where we're allowed to go through our own hell and become cleansed, and we're get accepted.
Is this the purgatory realm, Earth?
No, I think
a lot
Earth
of people would say that.
I think Earth is the heavens.
So, go ahead.
You're fine. Yeah, I think Earth is the heavens, because if you take out all the buildings, politics, all the noise, you have rainbows, waterfalls. It's beautiful, yeah. And it's physical, and you're able to. I think we were supposed to come down here to enjoy God's creation, his heaven, so that we can build our uniqueness in his realm, so that when we go back to become source, we're still us. We still have our experiences based off of his home. But I feel like the devil is living here, and he's just kind of tagging people.
So do you feel that the devil shouldn't be here, that God doesn't want him here, that God is somehow putting up with his presence?
No, I think the devil is secretly...
But then that means God's not in control of what he created then.
No, I think that the devil thinks he's winning, but when you go through the process is when the devil realizes he really lost. Because when people are able to take their trauma head on and face it, you get put in a position to where there's no other feeling that you can feel than, I am so fucking proud of myself because I did it. I got through it. I had friends that passed away early, and it traumatized the young. I was young. And I fought that fight on. I can openly talk about my friends. I can openly, there's no more pain. It's almost that tension you get in your chest when you think of that trauma. It opens it. And I am so much happier to have been able to go through that experience that I keep doing it. And I look at the cleansing phase of, like, I'm not saying that when I die I'm going to heaven or going to a peaceful realm. I've got more baggage that I may have to clean out, things that I don't even know. But that process that everyone calls hell, it's not, it's just a cleansing. It's letting you
it's a different version entirely of what
it makes you. It's almost like the devil thought he was winning because he's going to traumatize people so that they don't make it to these realms.
They used that trauma to be victorious, didn't they?
But then when God realized when we go through our traumas and our life and we gain our experiences, once you cleanse yourself of that trauma, only then can you become your true form.
So you couldn't be your true form without trauma.
I don't think so. Not in the next.
So I want to interject.
Maybe.
I want to interject a question here. I see there's layers of questions because we're working on these archetypes that I think are very Western, very modern, very Roman, and it really diverges from the essence of what I will call mystical Christianity, the ancient Christianity, because the idea of animal sacrifice, as an example, is not central to the original doctrine of Christians. That's not central to what the Essenes taught or what they believed. And what's happened is the Romans and there's some Jewish sects, the Sadducees and Pharisees as an example, they believed in flesh sacrifice. So the idea, the archetype of having a flesh sacrifice is pervasive in today's religion called Christianity. So you have to challenge the question, what is a sacrificial lamb? What's the purpose of it? If you have a divine father that's going to create a son, and the sole purpose of the son is to be sacrificed, the concept of sacrificing anything, flesh and blood, for any reason is not an original Christian doctrine. So where did that come from, and what does it mean? You can make that argument, but then take it a step further and say, okay, let's just pretend that that was a thing where Jesus was sacrificed for our sins, so I can go and be a dirtbag, but as long as I believe in him, I'm going to be saved. But let's just pretend that that's the case. So now there's this sacrificial lamb called Jesus. To whom did the Almighty Creator, the infinite powerful one, to whom did the infinite Creator feel like he needed to make this sacrifice?
Yeah.
To whom was that sacrifice being offered? If he is the almighty, perfect, infinite God, why would you even need to make a sacrifice to atone for sins? That doesn't even make sense to me, nor did it make sense to the first century Christians. The divergence in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, which again is censored, the Romans censored it. Why? Because Mary Magdalene was not a prostitute or hooker. She was a beautiful, divine soul. Peter was jealous because Mary Magdalene was the favorite disciple. But Da Vinci wouldn't even put her...
her level of intuition was probably higher than...
She was off the chart. She was like off the chart for second only to Judas, right? In terms of who she was as a soul. So now we have the censorship of Mary Magdalene's message. What was her message? Her key message was there is no sin. Sin does not exist.
Yeah. I don't believe in the concept of sin.
Sin is a divergence from that which is good.
Well, it's free will. You can choose it.
It's a divergence from that which is good. It's not a judgment. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be atoned for my sins because sin doesn't exist. The only reason you create... So the Romans took away the idea of sin, or they introduced the idea of sin as a judgment. So you have to go through some process or some mechanism.
Cleansing, yeah.
A blood sacrifice. So I'm just throwing that out there. Y'all do your own research. Thank you for listening. Do your own research. But I think we really need to challenge these archetypes, these concepts.
I think we've got to challenge it. I mean, do you believe in the concept of sin? Are we doing anything wrong on this planet? Even the worst murderer that's on this planet, the worst serial killer, he was given, in my opinion, free will to make a choice in the forces of light and dark. He will have to experience all the pain that he causes. And that's the point of reincarnation, and to learn as well. And eventually he will be cleansed and become a pure soul, however far that is down the line. But I don't believe that God wills sin, but I believe that he permits it.
Yes, I think sin is more of a humanized word for it, where it's if you commit sin, you did something illegal.
But do you believe we're sinners?
Yes. And I believe
that's where you and I would disagree. I don't believe in anyone's sinning.
I wouldn't say that I consider it a sin, just solely because the way I look at it is you have the freedom to do whatever you want. If you want to go out and do some horrible things, you can. All that I think is going to happen to you as far as the sin concept is you're going to spend a lot longer in your hell than what people realize, because I almost look at it as levels where you have a peaceful level. You're at peace, so you're at baseline. As life and pains and traumas and small little things start building up, you slowly decrease your spirituality level. And so say if something had happened to me before ayahuasca, say I started off at -5. Mm-hmm. I had 5 levels of trauma before my soul can first feel peace. Then once you get into a higher consciousness realm, the fight of the pure shock and awe of beautifulness is equally as hard as a hell fight. So I've seen some mystical, biblical things that were equally as hard for me to process the light was hard to process, and the dark was. So I believe that if you are a very sinful person, you may start off at -100, and you may not get to see your peace for an eternity because you're going to be fighting these traumas in a timeless place. So with ayahuasca, you're in for 8 hours, but when I come out of those journeys, I know I was not gone for 3 days. I know, but you get your consciousness. In a sense, you get your perspective that you're back here, and
when you're in this journey, because in this reality, I'm the participant and I'm the watcher. So I have the watcher consciousness and I'm the participant. Do you still have watcher conscience when you're on this journey, or are you really absorbed in an identification with it where you're
That's
not watching?
That's a really good question. That's a good question.
Are you talking about self-awareness?
Yes.
Okay, so yes, when with ayahuasca,
you're aware. I'm Mike. I'm in this, and I'm seeing this giant orb, but I'm still here watching.
To an extent, yes. I would say that if I went to a certain realm that was very, high up there, where it's very shock and awe, very
in the light,
like you're feeling the power of everything.
Incredible.
That it's very hard to snap into even asking a question, right? Because you're just absorbing it to the point that eventually, as you work with this medicine and the further you get with it, then eventually you might say like, thank you. And then you're there. You can your conscious is with you. But at the same time, I know what I look like on that ground. I know all the emotions I'm crying out and the snot coming out of my nose. I know the dirt's in my mouth. I know I don't have to pee. Put it that way. And it comes in waves because you're digesting it. So the wave will come in and you'll kind of be like, I'm just going to rest my eyes. And then boom, you're in and you're going through this realm and you're doing things, and you might get off your chair and go on the floor and stuff like that. And at any moment I can raise my hand and one of the volunteers would come by and see what I needed. Whether it's I need to go to the bathroom, they'll help me kind of just make sure you don't fall,
Walk you over there.
Walk you over there, yeah.
Two realities, aren't you? You're
simultaneously. I've been in a position with one.
It's almost like being in a gym. Like if you need a spotter, like you're lifting, and it's like, okay, I need a spotter on this one. They help you, but then they back away, and then you're back into it.
And it's almost like if it gets too intense, a lot of people say they just kind of open their eyes. And then you're back, you can see the campfire.
Well, that's good. You can ground yourself. I've always wondered that. Or are you just transported and there's no way out until 8 hours later? But you're saying that you're coming in and out.
You need a little exit button, right?
But when you're in, you're in.
You're in.
You're in. And it's hard
you've seen beautiful light realms which are difficult to take because it's so awe-inspiring, and then have you seen hellish realms which are equally difficult to take because it's so grisly?
I have seen the most magnificent, beautiful realms, avatar plants. Yes, huge avatar plants. I've been to pyramids. I've been through inside of a mother's womb delivering a baby.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, some good stuff. Wow. I got to watch my daughter was maybe 5, and there was one, and it's almost like you're in these pockets of worlds, and it slowly moves through all kinds of places as the music's going. So you may be going through one thing, and then I call them the minors. So like minor things that just means so much. And one of them was my daughter was 5, and I went to this one place that she was standing on top of this avatar red flower, huge flower thing. And
was it alive, this flower?
Everything's alive.
Everything has energy.
It's alive. And I've been absorbed by these plants. I've been ripped apart.
Are they caring?
So me particular, and everyone has different experiences. There are these avatar massive plants. My sister's gonna laugh because she knows it. I go to Disney with my wife.
Has she seen them too?
She had a completely different thing. Right. She didn't get as much visuals as what I get, which I think is an ego thing.
Oh.
To some extent.
You're a graphic artist. Well, there's this bias there.
To get in, we'll jump into ego in a second, all right, because I got a different idea with ego. Okay. But for me, these avatar plants have always started my journey. that's how I knew the medicine's kicking in.
And are they welcoming?
For the first the first 7 journeys I've had, they scared the shit out of me. They weren't harming me.
No.
They were fucking with me.
Ah.
Right? So it was almost
mischief.
It's a mischievous. And it would just kind of play with, like, it was weird. I became the plants. I've had a scenario where the plant I was in the form of like this ooze, and the plant would just pull me, and I would feel stretched. But as you get stretched, everything about you breaks off, right? And then it would just let go, and I would pop and come back, right? And you would just be like, what the fuck? What the fuck was that? And then it would do it again, but it would go a little bit further, right? And then it would bomb, and it would hit you again.
And was its motive to test you even if it knew the reasons and you didn't, or it was just fucking with you?
No, because it taught me something small.
Oh, okay.
It did. It was something,
knowledge came from it.
Yes, because every time it pulled me, every single thing about me would rip off easily. But then once it pulled me to an extent, the last little droplet that was me was my wife, my daughter, and my son.
It was stripping away the peripheral stuff and leaving the core essence.
And it pulled me to my core. And then I remember it letting me go, and it said, let's see what you really are. Let's see how far we can pull you. And it was sad, but beautifully sad. It pulled me to the point where it was my wife, my son. My son was maybe, 1. So we don't have a huge bond. We do. He's obviously my son, but we've only been around for a year. He's starting to get his personality now. And so then it just pulled. And I was crying, and I remember just boom, my wife left, right? And it was just my son and my daughter. Then it just kept pulling me, and then boom, my son left, and it was my daughter. She's my everything, right? I already knew that, but to feel that is a different scenario. And then it let go, and you're back. And then it would just be this concept in your head of the medicine telling you, well, now you know. Let's keep going. Nothing major, but just at least you know.
At least you know what?
That my family is my core unit.
So, Mike, you're talking a lot of reference from you and your progeny. Have you had experiences where you actually were connected to your ancestors?
Oh, yes.
Good question.
My grandmother is there every journey.
And when you recognize her, does she look like the grandmother you knew, or do you see her at her youthful state, or
multiple different? It's
like, how about her grandmothers or her grandmothers? Like, have you had any indication that you're in connection with people from generations or millennia prior to you, or is it just the people that you knew?
I believe that when we die and we become at peace and we go back home, you will have your own core people that you would want to look over.
I agree with that, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and I believe that you can call upon people, and then they can hear your call and they get the choice, Actually, I do that all the time. Yes.
I mean, in my lucidity, I've never done drugs, never done marijuana. I've never even smoked a cigarette. All right. So I'm coming to a place of strictly pure self. But those states that you speak of are what I call lucid states. And you can get into this some pretty aggressive, colorful places with these states of lucidity.
Have you been off planet to any other worlds or other species? Have you seen the big praying mantis? A lot of people see.
Snake, anaconda.
Right.
Very. Nothing negative.
Nothing alien that we would consider alien.
So I have seen, I would say, so I've done my 10 ayahuasca ceremonies, and then I've also done some bufo ceremonies, which is in the same chemical compound. It's still DMT, but it's from a specific toad.
Okay.
And they call it the God molecule. And then they also have free-base DMT, which is a smokable version of DMT. And I believe that they all have their own different healings and needs. I would say that I didn't get too much of ayahuasca's the teacher. She's the teaching medicine.
Yeah.
And teaching you about yourself.
It teaches you how to free your soul.
How to free.
How to freely navigate with a peaceful soul. Since ayahuasca, I've always said that I've have two different versions. There's multiple versions of me in this world. I'm a father, a husband, a brother, I'm a business owner. So every time I'm switching my hat.
Switching
you switch hats all the time. But then through ayahuasca, I've been able to really figure out my spiritual hat, which that's why I was telling you that this is almost a form of therapy for me, because you don't meet a lot of people that, one, have even really done this, or two,
be that interested. It's too peculiar.
It's too strange for them. And then even the communities that I'm in, when we all go to do ceremony, everyone's on their own journey. So no one really wants to hear your journey because they're doing their own journey. So you're just journeying with these people. They're all my brothers, my sisters. And when that church in Orlando, and it's so powerful to me because that church in Orlando, I have never volunteered for much. My time is my money. It's either my time is my house, my family. I've never gotten the need to volunteer at a church. But when I drank ayahuasca and I got through my first 3 ceremonies and I figured out I can volunteer and be there, I made sure I was there. And it was to the point where I volunteered overnight. So it was Friday around 7 o'clock. I would tell my daughter, hey, Daddy's got to go, help some people. I'll see you. I'd tell my wife, hey, I'll be back. And I would shoot over to the church. I would get there at 8 o'clock. I would pound coffee, and I would stay up until 5 a.m. And then I would get in my car around 7 and drive home and take my family to church. It was brutal. I was exhausted. And I did that for a year.
What compelled you to do that?
Because it's pure healing.
Right.
So
you can feel it.
It's almost like
you're in an atmosphere of healing.
People are truly getting healed. Yeah. And when you can see it and it's happened to you.
So you're riding off this freedom that they're experiencing, the aura around it is just releasing.
You can feel the energy of this medicine when you're there, but almost just, it's more of this soul, like just the concept of I'm helping.
Sarah,
truly helping.
Do you remember some time ago I talked to you about that experience Robin and I had with the homeless people, and the lady was eating from the trash can, and we went. That was so emotionally moving for me that I redoubled my commitment to helping homeless people and feeding people that didn't have, because I was so emotionally moved by that experience that I actually wanted to quit my job and do everything to help these people, to be present, to help those people, because there was so much value to me as a soul, helping them get to their next level. So, I get what you're saying totally. Yeah. So
if I didn't have my family and if I didn't have my business, I would be solely trying to mold my life around this medicine. But I have my life, Yes, I have my life.
So I want to, first of all, this has been amazing. I'm so grateful, Mike, for you to come out and share this, and hopefully it's been therapeutic to you.
Oh, it's amazing.
But we talked about the spirituality, we touched upon religion, we talked about the experiences, but looking forward, as a clinician, I'm very interested in having personally, conquered PTSD, but also being exposed to other people that are first responders, maybe people that have been subjected to, satanic ritual abuse, childhood trauma, any number of traumas, even veterans like myself, that have nightmares and things. We hear these anecdotes, and now it's coming more and more mainstream, about people being able to use some of these psychotropics or these these compounds that have neurological implications, not only to have an experience that's now or this weekend or these few days, But we're seeing evidence that it actually rewires or resets, maybe not rewires, but certainly resets the brain. So my question is twofold. One is...
That's interesting, resetting.
It's a reset.
Exactly what it is.
So that's at least the research I've read. And it's not just ayahuasca. It's any of the... Bufo. It's any of the psychedelics. I'm really big on Ibogaine. We talked about Ibogaine. Texas is putting legislation through for Ibogaine. I want to lead the charge for Ibogaine here in Florida. But all of these basically have a similar idea that, we've built these neurological pathways that are based on certain belief systems. And if those belief systems, if you keep thinking in those belief systems, you're burning those circuits in.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
the
what
strongholds, the Bible would...
it's a mental stronghold that keeps you tracking in this circuitry.
Horrible,
But, what if you could just say, okay, this computer, I'm just going to reboot this computer and let it go to its BIOS, its basic BIOS, and say, okay, look, this thing was caught in a loop. Let's shut it down. Let's start it back up. And let's introduce BIOS 1.0 or 1.1 or 1.2.
It's a
It's like a system defrag.
Yeah, you do a defrag but until it's to the point where I can't defrag it. Now you need to reset it. So my question is, do you believe that you answered it a little bit already, but do you believe that there's some degree of system reset? And the second thing is, based on your different communities and what you know so far about these journeys or these experiences or the benefits of these experiences, looking forward, what do you hope will happen in the world around us as these discussions of nootropics and these different plant-based therapies become more and more mainstream? What do you hope will happen?
So as far as like the you're talking about like the deep...
So two things, reset and then looking forward.
So the reset,
forward.
That's what I was going. The reset, 100%. 100%. My sister was on multiple different medications for a decade.
Medications for neurological issues like depression?
Yeah, depression, stuff like that. And she's 3 years free. And she also had motion sickness. And now she takes roller coasters at Disney all day.
So all of my pilot friends, my future pilot friends.
It reset her.
Yeah.
Same way that I feel like it reset me because... so one of my closest friends passed away 10 days before my 18th birthday, right? So, and I was about to turn 18. He was probably 21-ish at the time. And, big plans. We're going to go to Miami. We're going to have fun, this and that and that. Then all of a sudden, boom, right? So for 20-something years, whatever the span from 18 to about 35, that span of my life was every time my birthday came, the devil just kind of just tightened himself on me. And so when I went through my experience of that trauma, it rewired me to a point that I just recently asked my mom and my sister, what was I like? I can't fully remember the pain of why was I even so damn mad?
You're almost checked out. You're almost...
Yeah, like I can't reconnect to that anymore.
Interesting.
And so it kind of opened up my pathways to let it all rewire to where, yes, it happened, but there's no more emotional pain to that.
Yeah, and so as we look forward, it seems you'd be pretty hopeful because I know from my experience, from what I understand from what's going on in Texas with the Ibogaine, we have to find this middle ground. So yes, there's the religious ceremonial stuff, that's probably all the way on this edge. And then there's this, the religious zealots that are going to say, oh, that's the devil no, it's not. There's some therapy. We can agree that there's some therapeutic benefits. The question is, how do we get there in a place like Texas is talking about microdosing Ibogaine in a clinical setting, right? Yes, it's not the same as having the full-blown religious experience and the falling down on the ground and vomiting your guts and all that. Maybe it is, but it's more of a stepping stone, I think, for the general public to introduce this into the public psyche, to kind of bias the archetype away from...
Prepare us.
To prepare. It's like a stepping stone. So my question would be, looking forward, how do you see our path forward?
Have you come across other people doing the journeys? You say there was between 30 and 70 each time you did it, that walked away and had a really shitty experience, that would never want to do it again and would never recommend it? Or has everyone kind of got to where you are?
I think everybody... Okay, so when I volunteered, I've seen personally around close to probably 500 people. 300 to 500 people through the times I've volunteered. I have not met one person that has left there unsatisfied. Right. And if you were to look up the company on Google and you look at their reviews, it's almost about 5,600 5-star reviews.
Holy shit.
And a lot of 5-star reviews. So I have met, there was this one lady, I was drinking with her.
Interesting.
I was actually drinking with this lady. She was sitting next to me. She was real nervous. And, of course, And
it's first time for her?
It was her first time. It was maybe my fourth time. And I remember telling her, like, hey, whatever happens tonight, because I'm the type of person where if something intrigues me, I'm going to do it twice.
Yeah.
One, because you don't know what you're getting into, and two, because now you can feel it out whether this is your thing.
Yeah.
And so I kept telling her, do tomorrow's ceremony. Whatever happens, do tomorrow's ceremony. Saw her the next morning, and yes, she was like that. That was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. That was the wildest shit I've ever had. I don't like this and that and that. And I was like, I fully agree. Because a lot of people will go through that and then they'll leave. But then they don't understand truly what happened to them until about a month later. When all of a sudden, they don't have an urge to drink alcohol.
Their nervous system has had time to adjust to it.
And then they understand what it really... Like, for me, the most saddest, hardest, traumatic experiences that I've went through, they're the best. They are the best in hindsight.
In hindsight.
Yes.
Yeah.
But when I do go through and I hit a major traumatic spot, it changes your life. It frees you from that. And so the girl was rocked. She's like, I don't think I even want to do this. And I kept telling her, I was like, just do tomorrow's. Just try tomorrow's. She did the next night. And then what happens is the medicine's alive. So it knows how much you're going to drink and how often you're going to drink. And I've studied this. I've seen podcasts with people that have been drinking for 25 years. So they're further than me. And that's what they were saying. And it makes so much sense. Because my sister drank 1 cup that weekend. And she got everything she needed. And she came out that ceremony saying, I don't need to drink it again. I got it. I'm completely content. So she just did
it the one time?
She drank 1 cup. And me, my first cup, was brutal. Was really brutal. And I always told myself, I'm going to do it twice. I'm always going to do it twice. So the medicine knew I will be back. And I went the next night. So did the girl that was sitting next to me. And after her second ceremony, she came back to me smiling,
really, that's
happy. It was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen because the medicine...
You were right on the nail about that then.
Because the medicine... And the medicine knew that she was going to drink the second cup before I even told her. So I didn't really need to do my part. But the medicine knew she will. And if she didn't do the second cup, I believe that her first ceremony would have been completely different. Because I've gone to ceremonies where it's 3 nights and I will have a traumatic experience. And then the following 2 ceremonies will be blissful.
To make sense of the trauma.
Not even to make sense. It's almost like your body has surrendered to a point that you no longer have a fight in you.
It's almost like a celebration type
and
of
it
thing,
lets you explore. You're given that peace to explore. Even though I had more baggage, it was like, let's work through this one, and then let's explore, because it knew I was going to be back next year to tackle my next one.
Right, okay.
And so the next year I went, I had another big one, and then I got to explore.
So the first one is a shitty one that gives you a horrible experience, but that very experience is what's going to allow you a better experience.
It frees your soul to let you keep going, in my experience.
And how many people decline the second one after having this awful first trip?
Not a lot, because I don't think that because I truly believe that it's a living organism. So I think it knows it before. So like my sister, her experience was, and she'll come on and talk to you guys, but her experience was a hard experience, but it wasn't hard enough. She got everything she needed, and she understood that. So she sat with the medicine, drank it, and the medicine knew she's not going to be back. This is our one. We got 8 hours. Yeah. Let's do this, because we're going to get through your depression, this one and that one, and we're going to work through a couple scenarios, and I'm going to leave you in the most beautiful spot. It always leaves you in a beautiful spot. Your journey won't end bad.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
I fought my dad.
So by the time you come back 8 hours later, you're in some type of relief and happiness.
Something magical will happen at the end that will fill you with love.
Okay, that's good.
Yes.
That's good to know.
Yes, it's the moment of surrender. Yeah. Once you truly surrender to what's happening, it blesses you. And it will make sure you surrender in time.
Right.
and it's beautifully panned out.
Yeah.
Where I've been through battles for 6 hours, and on that 7th hour, it's just boom, a rose.
Such a relief to know, actually, isn't it? Because you wouldn't want to end it on a crappy note, would you? That'd be terrifying.
And wait another year.
Exactly.
So let me ask you, so looking forward, if it was a blank slate and the world were going to unfold and you could bestow this blessing upon the future world, what would you like to see happen in terms of its deployment to the mainstream?
I think there should be camps all around the U.S. I think that it should be open to the general. There is no difference from, it's like the my body, my choice kind of concept. Mm-hmm. I should be, as a 38-year-old, I should be able to do what I want to do.
You should be able to experiment with your own consciousness.
What would be the youngest? What would be the youngest you would suggest?
Oh, see, that's where it gets into like the government.
Yeah, that's
concept,
well. I'm saying, forget the government. Just you're a father. You're a father of 2 children. What would be the like if there were no outside interferences?
Nothing. So I know in over by the Amazon, I've heard stuff where kids drink it at all ages, where they have young kids that will go drink this. And
what are your thoughts about that?
If the medicine's alive, it's going to know how to handle.
It's going to know how to handle that child,
because that medicine sounds like it's in charge.
So, well, I mean that presupposes it's alive and that it's got its own consciousness, which we can make an argument that all of these plants have some level of consciousness.
Yeah.
See, I believe air is consciousness. Like, what is air?
It's ether. Well,
it's ether. Yeah. It's consciousness. When you deprive yourself from air, your heart still continues, your brain still functions. The only thing you lose is your consciousness.
The ether, interestingly, when you look at the ancient, not even ancient, like 150 years ago, the table of the elements contained an element called ether, and it's not on the modern table of elements. So they literally pulled ether out of the psyche of the world.
Yep.
So do you think if this became mainstream, this could lead us towards creating heaven on earth? I mean, could this be so transformative that all the bullshit a lot of people feel could be left behind? New age. I mean, could this be that big of a deal? I think it would be a revolution as far as how this medicine can help you. And I think that it could be, I think that people should have the right to do it any way they want. Whether it's full-blown like what I do, give me a full cup, I'm ready to ride, or if it's microdosing. I'd microdose with it first, I think.
Because even when you first go to drink, they'll give you a small little bit.
And how quickly are you going to feel something different?
With the small starter, you may not enter fully.
The gateway.
It's almost to where microdoses may not be able to open that door, right? It's almost like you need to open it. And when they give you that starter cup, which I've only had my first ceremonies, kind of just make sure how you deal with it a little bit, you kind of just feel a little woozy and nice, and then you go back and you're like, all right, let me get half cup, and then you're blasted off, you're in. So I feel like it would be hard to microdose this for the public, but I do think that if it becomes mainstream, I can guarantee you God's going to win. Hands down, this will be it. I believe everybody should drink this.
So now I'm going to say one more thing. I'm getting this overwhelming feeling that, the more you discover about the Essenes and the ancient texts and the ancient mystical Bible and the way that they live their lives, it's gonna make some connections with you that you've never even expected, you never saw coming, because the Western world talks about this God that's got angels, right? So the Gospel of Peace, if you read that, it talks about the Heavenly Father with the angels. There's 7 angels. But the Gospel of Peace also explains that there's the earthly mother with the 7 angels. And how we interact during the daytime, we interact with the mother and then the angels, the angel of power, right? So it's a one-to-one interaction during the daytime when we're conscious and awake with the angel of power. On behest of the, it's a relationship we have with the Earth Mother. Then at nighttime we surrender. This is where I go. The lucidity is right in the middle. When you're in the lucid state, you have Mother and Father both present, which is super awesome. And so you go into this lucid state, but at nighttime you're literally surrendering to the Heavenly Father, into the esoteric, and you've got the 7 angels, and you can commune with one of the angels every night. And there's 7 days of the week, so you can literally rotate 7 angels, 7 days. It's all beautiful. But you can have these communions day and night with mom and dad, spend time with mom, spend time with dad, and it's an ongoing process. So what you're saying, it's such a perfect dovetail with the
It would be, if there is going to be a revolution, and I think you're quite right about that, it's not going to be welcomed by the forces and powers that be that want to control us, is it? So that's going to be...
I mean, think about it. Think about the prisons. Like, say you have a hardened criminal, and they have an option of staying in the cell for the rest of their lives.
That's interesting.
Or go. I mean, I'm just thinking of these because
Mm-hmm.
I look for answers. I'm looking for answers. The reason I wanted Mike on is because
you have to force.
I need to learn.
That, maybe.
Well, no, you give them an option.
You have to give them the option. It's
say,
very
look,
intentionally based. You have to want to change.
You have to want to.
Yeah.
If I were to try to rip somebody out of their home and just take them into the woods and give them this, they may have a very bad journey because they're thinking. You have to. It calls you.
Yep.
So what you do is, I can see a scenario. Say you have a hardened criminal, who God knows what that person's trauma is. It's a reflection of an infinite divine creator, beautiful soul, most likely, right? And now they're incarcerated for the rest of their life. What if there was a way we could say, okay, look, if you want to voluntarily go through this program, instead of paying $100,000 a year to incarcerate you, let's spend $5,000. Let's put you through this program where we can, and then at the end, you're still going to wear a tether. You're still going to do all these things, whatever we need to keep you legitimate in society, right? We can still do that. Mm-hmm. But at some point, I feel like we should permit them to finish their journey and go through this.
Yeah.
So we can systematically empty the prisons.
It's humane.
We need to... I think it should be...
People are going to respond to it because they want people to be punished.
I think it should be necessary. It should be part of our Constitution of the United States. If you're going to be a politician... You need to get real.
Yep, I believe that too.
You need to get real because if you're going to be
a Ayahuasca trip before becoming a politician,
something like it.
Yes.
I love it.
I'm on the same page. I believe
it's like because these people are psychopaths.
Well, and that will purify you, is what is going to do that, isn't it?
Well, back in the day, look, you didn't get to be a politician. They didn't even call them politicians; they were statesmen. You were a statesman, and the idea is that you're going to represent we the people. The people if you're in Nigeria, you're going to represent your people, right? But you didn't get to be that elevated status because of your political power or your influence or who your dad was or how much money your family had. You rose to that level because people loved you and they trusted you, and that's gone. So if you could, as a minimum, have it so that these people have the come to Jesus moment with themselves. And they know that getting up there that, hey, look, I'm here for a bigger purpose than these. So you're not, because if you put broken people into politics, you're going to have broken results.
To strip the ego from this politician primarily, so they're acting from their soul essence.
I mean, that would be, but there's so many practical, for me personally, there's so many, do you like music at all?
My music genre has changed significantly since Ayahuasca, but yes, I listen to a lot of spiritual. I listen to it all the time.
Five Finger Death Punch.
No, my favorite artist right now is named Ape Chimba.
Okay,
so I don't know what language he speaks.
I get that, but there's a really good video talking about veteran suicides, veteran PTSD, veteran trauma, veteran homelessness. Great video on that. I'll put a link to it. But if I could just help those veterans normalize their brains, because they're beautiful people. They did what they did to serve others. There's a soulful aspect to a homeless veteran that we need to help. We need to bring those people back.
I've seen videos of soldiers leaving to do an Ibogaine treatment, and when they get home, their wife starts crying the moment she sees him without saying anything.
He's back.
Because you can see it in their eyes. And I have so much respect for this medicine that, like I was even telling my sister this, if somebody offered me a chance to go do Ibogaine.
How does Ibogaine differ from DMT?
So from what I've understood is Ibogaine will shoot you into your shit for close to 2 to 3 days.
Oh, wow.
In
That's
a concept. You're in. And I've also read that, people will administer you and help you. You have to have like the volunteers make such a difference.
That's a big commitment, isn't it?
It is.
3 days.
And then from what I've heard is after you get out of an Ibogaine treatment, you enter this state of mind called the gray, where it's kind of like you're not depressed, but you're just...
There's an anticlimax.
You don't know what the fuck just happened to you concept. You're just in this zone. Yeah. And then from what I've heard, I don't know if it's... because I've never done Ibogaine, but from what I've heard is then after you sit in the gray for like a day or so, they then administer you bufo, which is called the God molecule. And from whatever that I've done bufo about 6 times, but after that bufo experience, from what I've read, is that's when you completely that's it. You've transformed.
So they're a tandem experience.
That's from what I've heard.
And that's very similar to what I've studied, because there's different layers. Like you could do a mushroom trip that's going to get you into some shallow. Like you can go very shallow, and it's both the breadth and the depth varies depending on.
Yes. And I've heard, so ayahuasca...
And it can depend on how sick you are mentally as well.
Yes.
It's going to depend on your own consciousness.
I feel like ayahuasca allows you... So the way I look at plant medicines is I view them as the cell phone from God. So God would give us a way to retune ourselves. He wants to be able to greet us at the doors. But the devil's down here just giving us our traumas. So we cannot enter the heavens as he intended. But I also think that by giving us our hell, our cleansing zone, to be able to absorb these traumas and then be able to cleanse ourselves through them and get to the peaceful state to enter is more beneficial, because we wouldn't be who we are today without our traumas.
I wouldn't change any of them.
I wouldn't change any of mine.
No, it's interesting, isn't it?
And I think that the way I look at it is ayahuasca allows you to retune yourself to a degree. It's not... Ibogaine is going to rewire you. You're going to go...
It's a full reset.
That's more hardcore than ayahuasca, I believe.
In my opinion, yes. To the point that I respect these medicines so much that if somebody offered me a free Ibogaine, I don't need it.
Right.
I think that's very legitimate, especially if ayahuasca is the teacher, the mother. She'll tell you it's like this, not this, this, not this.
I would feel bad taking a spot on an Ibogaine ceremony when I know about 4 or 5 people personally that need that spot.
Yeah.
That's fair.
If you guys had an Ibogaine ceremony here and you're like, hey, we have unlimited Ibogaine, everything's full, come.
What's the compound in Ibogaine? What is it?
It's a West African root.
It's a root.
It's a root. I forget the name of it. It's like a Ibo-U, or it starts with IBO, but...
So a trip to West Africa then?
I've been there. I've been to six West African countries. But so let me ask you this. I want to kind of put a bow on this. And first of all, gratitude to Mike. Sarah just finished, you don't know this about Sarah, she just finished a very extensive catechism. We talk a lot on this show about spirituality and our journey, but based on what Mike's shared, Sarah, what are some of the novel insights you've seen that, how does this dovetail with your catechism?
Well, what I like about it is what you believe and what I believe to be the therapeutic properties of it. So can this transport someone into a better experience of life on planet Earth and get them out their ego loops?
Yeah.
The answer would be yes. I think you'd have to be brave.
Yeah.
You'd have to be committed. So I see it as a beautiful thing for the people that are right for it.
Exactly.
I know a lot of people that wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
Yep, my wife won't.
And I think that that's okay for them.
Me too.
That's fine. But for the people that wish to have a bigger, wider, better experience, I think that that's something. I know that I'm going to do it. I absolutely know that. Yeah. I don't know when. I didn't know last week that I was going to meet you, so who knows. But I would like to try it and then see for myself. I'd want to definitely have subjective experience before I would think about it any further.
Do you feel any of the concepts dovetail with your catechism? And
well, so I believe that we're creating our reality with our minds, that we live in a quantum field, that this is what God prepared for our growth, and that life mirrors back our inner state of mind, and that there's no outside forces creating our reality, it's us doing it. So if you did Ibogaine or you did Ayahuasca and you got rid of a lot of your impurities and you purge them, then maybe what you could create in this quantum field would be absolutely spectacular, because you'd be now in control of your mind without so much ego dominating.
Yep, you'll be able to create. I feel like we are sent here to create our home. So my home, when I die and I go to where I believe my new home is, I can already tell you it's going to be filled with family. It's going to be filled with these avatar plants that I love. It's going to be filled with the most unbelievable. It's my room. And the plant medicine helps you, like the ego. So as when I was growing up, my brother had a big ego. He was the man. He was Mr. Popular. So every time I would go out, there was no matching his ego, right? So even as a kid, I would be out fishing. I would be out, exploring. And then I started working with my parents, and I kind of naturally took on that role. So there was never really once in my life where I was just like, what do I want to be? So ego to me, I feel like I didn't have much of an ego. Ayahuasca gave me my ego. And I look at ego as a double end. You have a human ego and a spiritual ego. And I look at it as body armor, to where your ego is your body armor. So if you are, you're a professional in this field and you're the top of the field, and no one can tell you any different, that's one of your egos. You are that, and you have that body armor, to where I feel like I didn't have much. So when I journey, I feel like my journeys go significantly deeper, because I'm not breaking apart what I am, because I was truly searching for what am I?
Halfway there.
And now I believe my ego is my spiritual body armor is now layering my ego, to where I'm not saying I'm immune to the devil, but there's no more attachment to it. Like, I'm not saying that he won't eventually traumatize me, but it's going to be really hard. It's going to be to the point where if something traumatic does happen to me, I'm at the state of mind where I may want to sit with that trauma for a year. I may not run to my medicine right away, because I want to understand this trauma and then tackle it. And it's almost like you don't appreciate the trauma, but you understand it is playing a role in your life. And
so you have embraced it to some
extent. You've embraced it. And being able to, like death, it's hard. Death is not a dead end.
No.
But once you break through that with ayahuasca and you're able to see your the hardest states of mind I've ever been, fighting my fights, something or someone beautiful will save you. My grandma is always there. And I always tell my mom, every time I get out of ceremony, she's like, "Did you see Nana?" I'm like, "Mom, she's always there." I've been crying on the floor, and I will just see my grandma's hand come down and just place her hand on top of mine, and whoop, you're out of it. You feel the love. You feel
So there's nothing to fear ultimately then?
No. The only thing you can fear is yourself and your ego. Your ego's going to let you battle. How hard are you going to...
Before you surrender.
Until you surrender. And I didn't have much of an ego,
right.
But I would say some egos would be living up to my dad's expectations. That could have been part of that ceremony. Being able to finally rip free, become my own man, and at the same time, connect and become him.
Yes, that's an interesting part, that, isn't it?
And he's always with me.
Circled back.
He's always with me. Rather than being in his shadows, we're united. To the point where if something did happen to him, say he's got, 15 more years, hopefully 20, 25. When that time comes, I know exactly where I can go see him.
Well, exactly. I was just going to say, you could visit him.
Yes.
The veil is gone.
The veil is gone. I have seen friends that have passed, my grandparents on both sides. My brother-in-law's father passed away about a month and a half before my last ceremony, and I saw him.
Bumped into him.
And it's not even it's a minor thing.
Did you see any pets?
Not so not necessarily individual pets, but I have been to places where I will be in front of this huge avatar plant with a massive stem and millions of eyeballs on it.
God.
And I'll be viewing this, and somehow I just understood this is the place that animals and plants can come in order to view us.
Oh.
And I don't know why. I mean, it didn't leave a huge impact, but it was like, that's cool.
It's curiosity.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'll accept that,
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things about the ceremonies that are amazing. Oh, so I brought you guys a gift. I forgot to give it to you at the beginning.
We love gifts here.
I was getting excited.
Right now.
I was getting excited.
Oh,
so, however,
sweet.
there's two of them in there. But yeah, even at the beginning of ceremonies, they offer it's called hape, and it's a ceremonial ground tobacco plant, and it's in an ash form, and they administer it straight up your nasal.
Oh yeah.
Right, and the different tobaccos once it enters, it's unpleasant. It gives you, but it relaxes your nervous system to a point that just opens you up before the medicine. And
pre-med.
It's like a pre-med, just a warm-up. And like I have hape here with me, and I don't do it all the time, but the moments in life when shit gets real, you get in, your stresses are hitting you from all angles. I like to say it's the devil's punching me on any turn. If a bill's got to be paid,
So
this
then
and
you
that.
just snuff a little bit of this.
If things get intense, I can go sit on my patio. Like,
And is it an instant kind of relief?
It's a relief. It forces you to almost a meditative state, because the effects are just kind of like it's right there in your core. So it engulfs you to where all of your stress is just, almost like you get the chills, but you can feel it bleeding off of you. So like I said, I don't do it often, but yeah, if there's same thing as and in ayahuasca ceremonies, they always tell you one of the most important things you can do is take time for yourself after your ceremonies. Throughout the span, take 5 minutes for yourself. And I don't believe there's much that can do that for me besides hape. Because
And hape is, what's the ingredient of it?
It's different plants and herbs.
Yeah.
And it's also a ground tobacco.
Okay.
Plant, and they just crush them up and take the ashes. They burn it and take the ashes.
Can I grow that in Florida?
I don't know. I'm sure you could.
Did you buy that from somewhere?
There's a website. A couple of my buddies have websites that they sell them,
And then they can ship it to you.
And then the administer, I forgot what the name of it. If it's a Kerpy, I forgot what the name they say. Looks like this.
It smells good.
And so you would just take a pea-shaped,
Right.
and you load it in, and then you would just and you blow it straight up.
Snort it right up.
Yep. And you just kind of, it's more of, instead of like, even when they administer me before ceremony, they always tell you like, hold your breath and lock the airways, because the administrator is going to blow themselves.
Oh, going to shoot it up.
Or this one, I would blow here and it would shoot itself up. And yeah, it's a very,
and for those of you listening, what we're looking at is just basically like an L-shaped device that looks like a straw that's bent, and you could literally blow into the tube and it goes up your nose. That's what we're looking at.
Basically, yeah.
Self-administering.
So thank you for the gift, Mike. That's
so
very
those
thoughtful.
are kind of just ceremonial Hop-A bottles, but
That's
they're
so cute.
decorative. I got them, I think, after I want to say I got those after they're identical.
Oh, we have twins.
And I got them. It's just a little.
Oh, look at how cute.
Oh, thank you.
That's so
and they
thoughtful.
have little
Thank you.
ayahuasca roots embedded in the side and the top of them.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Thank you. So I want to. God, that's so amazing. I always appreciate little gifts. And
Oh, that's lovely.
so I want to put a bow on this. First of all, express gratitude to you, Mike, for coming
thank
out.
you guys.
Sarah, I want to let you close, not close, but just any closing thoughts on the topic. Then I have one last a question for Mike.
No closing thoughts, because I think we should have another conversation.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do this again and follow up. We'll do some more research, but because I still have a lot, and I think this is a good first starting point.
Yeah.
But Mike, when we came here, you mentioned several times that you see this experience of doing a podcast. And by the way, you're only our second podcast, like where we have a guest, and I think it's very valuable. To at least it is, but both of them have been for me a very valuable experience. But you had expressed that you perceive this to be somewhat therapeutic, part of your journey. What does that mean? And did you feel like this fulfilled the need for you to have such a therapy? Did we accomplish the goal?
Oh, beyond that, because, like I said, they call it integration after you take ceremonies, and it's a way to just get it out, a way to express new belief systems, new ways to think about situations, and the people help you kind of get to that goal. And like I said, there's only so much my business partner and my wife can take before you start getting really weird. And there's not a lot of people that you run into that have these mindsets
on that level. Yeah.
So it is, like I said,
I run into that a lot.
Yeah, you said it's a lonely life. So for me to be able to come here and just be me, my authentic hat, this is the real me. I don't have to be a business owner right now. And the idea that this could reach one person that's in a bad spot and understand just enough information to research this is beyond therapeutic for me, because I would fight as hard as I can for this plant medicine because of the powers, not only that it affected me, but it saved my sister,
Yeah.
And like me and my sister are
and repaired your relationship with your dad.
Yes.
Beautiful. And self too.
And like even with my dad, me and my dad had a great relationship. It was a maybe subconscious trauma of trying to fill these shoes. And I understood I'm beyond those shoes because I am those shoes.
Yes.
And it humbled me. It truly, ayahuasca allowed me to appreciate the last stages of his journey in a different perspective. And if people can understand that this medicine is not, it might be scary, but it is
We've all been through scary situations in our lives, though, I think, haven't we? I've been through horrible stuff.
And categorically, we come out stronger. We come out stronger.
And you wouldn't change it.
And you wouldn't change it.
Some of the most dirtbag experiences I've had have made me powerful.
Yes.
So I get that. So moving forward, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, can you give me a link or something I can put it, or maybe they can I need a way, if they have questions, how to either get a hold of you, or do you even want to remain anonymous? I mean,
or they can get in touch with you. Or they can get website.
As far as if they reach out to you,
and then I can forward it.
Right. Yes, because I'm at the beginning. It was funny when I was driving here. I was looking at all the pastors coming in and everything, and my first 10 ceremonies, my sole intention was to shake hands with God or Jesus. Right? That was my basis. Every time I went in, my sister would laugh at me. What's your intention? That's it. Because I need proof of something beyond. And I got that on my 10th. I figured I got what I was, and I feel like the next chapter of my journeying is about to open. So being able to come here and do this podcast really solidified everything, and it's really allowing my spiritual self to close this chapter to an extent, and it's allowing me to continue on to this next path.
Well,
I agree.
we're glad to be part of that.
And to be continued. I think we should have another conversation.
So as our second guest, what overall, not talking about ayahuasca, but just the overall experience, you've never done a podcast, you're only our second guest. What's been the experience here at the Treehouse?
There can't be much that would intimidate you, though, because you've seen so much.
But he wanted
very secure.
Well, he wanted to come early to kind of chill out and get the lay of the land. So there was this unknowingness. But if you were to make a suggestion to future guests, what would you advise them? What would you say they're in a good spot? Or
I'd say that they're in this place is amazing. It's amazing. And no, it was more than what I expected, honestly. I think that it went on
What did you expect and what did you get?
I expected to be nervous.
I mean, I'm putting it out there.
No, that's fine. I just don't know how anything could be nerve-wracking after seeing this incredible reality.
And it was freeing. I haven't slept much since you told me that you wanted me on your podcast.
Oh, you can sleep tonight.
Oh, yes. Solely because
I've got some herbals you can have.
You can sleep for 24 hours.
I'll give you some mumio for tonight. Yeah.
And it was freeing for me being able to talk about something that I'm very passionate about, and being able to I'm not an expert. I'm not by any means a facilitator. I'm my own.
You're a journeyer.
I'm a journeyer. And being able to step into a conversation, and it's just such an open, loving conversation to be able to express what this is about. It's therapeutic. It's like I said to you, I have these conversations with my head and with myself, and I'll laugh.
So there's some fellowship in this, isn't
there? The whole community
talk normally about what could be considered abnormal, and a lot of people wouldn't touch this.
Even the concept of after ceremony, they have multiple different facilitators that you can sign up to their weekly integration, so that you can go on to their web weekly, talk about your experiences, and they'll help you kind of navigate. It's a way to release positive energy.
I'm going to ask one more question, and this could actually segue into our next interview. But when I was preparing for the show, and just because I wanted to do some basic research myself, but I've got this Earth Angel project on which I'm working, and Sarah's got her church that she's working on that, and they're going to integrate in some way. But I have this idea of, we talk about first responders and all this stuff benefiting from this, each one of us individually with our soul's journey. But there's some really high-level people in, politics, governments, universities, businesses that really could benefit from this and set themselves free. Do you see that as a possible vector for them to get to their next level as a CEO of a major corporation or something like that?
Oh, I believe everybody. This plant medicine's for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm on the same page with you. I truly believe that every single politician should have to do this at least 3 to 4 times.
Interesting, fascinating. Yeah, and I just threw that out there as a off-the-cuff comment, but it's actually relevant.
You could say that prior to being a parent, you should do it 3 or 4 times. Prior to doing anything.
Prior to doing anything important, let's have a reality check here.
Yeah, I think that it's like I said, it's the cell phone to God. It allows you to cleanse yourself.
So on this episode, we need a cell phone to God. That would
have Mike on a cell phone. Make a caricature of him with a cell phone to talking to God.
So as far as me today, I am I'm the freest I've ever been in my life. Oh. And I'm excited to continue my journeying as a free soul, but also as the traumas come in, I have a place to go. So I'm no longer fearful of those, because once something happens to me, I know how to handle it.
Yeah.
I know
you're going to be fine.
I know I'm going to be fine, and I know it's going to be the most beautiful fight of my life.
So in a very brief sentence or paragraph, say a closing thought to the brand new person who listened to this episode the whole way through, and they're considering ayahuasca for whatever reason, whether it's trauma, a new experience, curiosity,
desperation.
In just a sentence to a brand new person listening, or even to a skeptic or a religious zealot that this is the devil, would make a suggestion to those people listening.
To those people listening, I would say, one, to truly free your soul is one of the most beneficial experiences of my life. And also, as they research this medicine, the biggest thing that all the facilitators I've ever been around have said to me is the medicine may not give you what you want, but it's going to give you what you need. And it's not going to take you beyond what you're capable of handling. And it's so true. And you'll get pushed to your limits, but how do you know what you are without getting pushed to those limits? And I can't guarantee, but I can say every single person that I've ever been around has said it will leave you in the most beautiful spot when you're done.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to Soul Decodes. This has been Mike Solis. Sarah, closing thoughts?
No, I'm just going to take in the whole conversation. It's been beautiful meeting you. I've enjoyed every minute of this, and I can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you.
I have a whole bunch of questions that we didn't get to, so we can do another one. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been a delight.
Yeah, truly. And
I'm going to try it. I've always knew that I would, and so we'll see.
Everything we do is unscripted. We don't have an agenda, but this has been a really good episode. I think this is going to be one of our best episodes. I hope you'll share it with your friends and family,
yes.
Just send it out. And maybe we should give him a chance to do his own graphic, but the thing is, it has to be done by 3 a.m., so I'll probably do it. If you want to redo the graphic, I'll replace it down the road. So
I give you an intro song.
You got an intro song?
I can send you one that would... yes, I've got so many.
Okay, listen.
Yes.
Okay, so...
That's nice.
What you heard at the intro, do you want it at the beginning or the end?
Whichever.
I can do both. I'll do like 20 seconds at the beginning and then the whole song at the end. How's that?
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Shoot it over as soon as you have it. And for those of you listening, souldecodes.com, you can communicate with me and Sarah. We have show notes. And if you want a guest on this show, we're in Central Florida. If they're willing to drive to the Treehouse and they have something, something they want to speak from their soul, we're going to help them.
We'll decode it.
We'll decode it for them, right? So anyway, thanks y'all for listening, and thanks again, Mike.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Soul Decodes, a feature presentation, airs every Friday on the Earth Angel Media Network. This episode of Soul Decodes is sponsored and produced by Live Pure. Optimize your life by taking your health to the next level. Listen now to learn how Live Pure will make your world better.
Live Pure is an American-based distribution system of online portals that give discounted access to clean, potent, natural, and ethically sourced healthy solutions for fat loss, muscle gain, immaculate skin care, immune system support, whole body cleanse, physiological balance, and performance support for athletes of all ages. Live Pure handpicks the best products and nutrients from world-class companies, always adding to their quickly growing wellness lineup that now includes Korean skincare, medical-grade nutraceuticals listed as pharmaceutical alternatives in the physician's desk reference, and healthy coffee that rivals the world's best, but for only about $1 per cup. Soul Decodes listeners looking for vitality, youth, beauty, and better health can get 25% off retail by visiting livepure.com/Sarah Tirri and signing up for free as a preferred customer. If you are a content creator, influencer, or home-based entrepreneur looking for worldwide cash flows from the emerging gig economy, Live Pure's state-of-the-industry brand partner affiliate program can bring you up to 7 different payment vectors as bonuses. As a content creator aligned with Live Pure and Earth Angel Media, you will enjoy massive co-marketing benefits, including a cutting-edge website that is personally branded to you or to your business. Sign up as a brand partner at livepure.com/Sarah Tirri, or drop us a note at connect@earthangelproject.com to get more information.